Hello, we are BNAD number 6, group 4. Our topic is microplastic. Next page. This is our table of contents. Microplastic are tiny pieces of plastic less than 5 mm wide. They break off from bigger plastic items come from industry material or as microbeads in some cleaning products and makeup. Next. Plastic is light and cheap, so it is used in many everyday products. Since the 19th century, plastic has been utilized in large quantities due to the development. Data shows that the use of plastic has been increased from 1950 to the present date and will be raised in the future. Next. Atoms and package can break into tiny pieces when they are exposed to sunlight, wind, and rain. Factories can also make tiny bits while they're making and moving things around. Stuff used to clean itself like cleanser can let out tiny pieces down the drain. Clothes also can lose little fibers when you wash them. Next. Microplastics are everywhere, and landfills are a big reason they are spread around. The oceans are like a big collection spot for microplastic. They mostly get them from rivers and drainage systems. It can end up in the soil when they're in sewage sludge, and they can be carried into the air when water is the blow rates or just by the wind. Next page. Microplastic in marine life can harm its ecosystem and pose health risks to humans via the food chain. It has been found from deep sea trenches to Arctic ice processing management challenges. Next page. It meets global carbon criteria by being ubiquitous, transboundary, persistent, and interconnected with large global issues that public concern worldwide. Nations and organizations are partnering to research and track microplastic pollution, with policy targeting reduced plastic output and enhanced waste management as public awareness grows. Give it to Yankee.
Thank you, Flora. And here are the key data points extracted from the article. Are we doing enough to solve the major issue of microplastics? The microplastics have become a global problem due to their widespread contamination in seas, air, soil, and even our food and drinking water. The article highlights that these particles originated from the both primary sources like cosmetics and textile, and the secondary sources such as the breakdown of larger plastic materials. And furthermore, the article discussed the health implications of microplastics, linking them to the chronic inflammatory disease and cancer. This health risk is not isolated to specific regions, but affects the population worldwide, amplifying the global urgency. And the research in the microplastic has expanded the significantly over the last decade. Next page. Particularly in the country in the China and US and also the Germany. However, the article stresses that despite the growing awareness, more coordinated global efforts are needed to combat the issue. An article concludes that solving the microplastic problem requires long-term global cooperation between the scientists, governments, and the public. And here we'll pass the time to Kobe.
Thank you, Yankee. Now I'm going to talk about the Part 3 global impact. Next, the first criteria is talk about ability found across ecosystem and geography. In geography, microplastic is a global presence. Here you can see the table is about the industrialization level and per capita microplastic resident rates in vivo at the country level. In this time, although we are not focused on the resident rates for the microplastic, this table is show that this country peoples has getting the resident rates of the microplastic in their body, which means this country has the microplastic problem. Next, after that, this table is show that more country is getting the microplastic problem. Next, in the ecosystem, microplastic was expanded from the marine to soil, groundwater, air, and the food chain. Next, in the aquatic ecosystem, the next side of the table is about the global microplastic less than 5 mm. Its concentration reported by the aquarium and sedimentary environment. In the table, it can seen by the almost 27 aquatic ecosystem is getting the microplastics problem. Next, also in the marine life, microplastic was on the percent too. It has the two study to show that. In the Malaysian study, investigation the microplastic present abounding and the morphological type which in the guts for the four species of the commensal marine fish caught in the sea water. off of the cage. Remarkably, this study found that 100% of the sample contain microplastic. The total number of the microplastic, the size is less than 5 mm, is 432 from the 4 species was found. In the Singapore study, microplastic was identified in the 3 species of the shrimp from the local supermarket of Singapore. Microplastic fiber, fin, fragments, and the fleas was found in the GI chest from the shrimp. The microplastic abundance range is from the 13.4 to 7,015 items. In these two studies, it can show percent of microplastic in commercially harvested seafood and commercially ability seafood. The injection pose risks not only to the marine life but also to the human health through the food chain. Now I would pass to Kylie to talk about further criteria.
Thank you, Kobe. A total of 5 oceanic circulations with plastic have been identified to date. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch (GPGP) is the largest of the 5 offshore plastic accumulation zones in the world's oceans. It is located halfway between Hawaii and California. The mass of the plastic in the GPGP was estimated to be approximately 100,000 tons. This weight is also equivalent to more than 714 Boeing 777s. Rivers are the primary way to transporting this plastic charge from land to the sea. Between 1.15 and 2.41 million tons of plastic debris annually enter the world's ocean via rivers. Microplastic concentrations range from 0.16 to around 3,400 particles per cubic meter in North and South American freshwater reservoir, point at 0.28 to around 1,200 particles per cubic meter in European rivers, and 293 to around 90,000 particles per cubic meter in Asian water bodies, lakes. The ocean, about 8 million tons of plastic debris are estimated to get into the ocean each year. At least 5.25 trillion plastic particles totaling 269,000 tons are thought to be present in the world's ocean. Next. In the share of global plastic waste admitted to the ocean in 2019, Asia is the highest one. An annual estimate of plastic waste emitted into the ocean in 2019, the Philippines is the highest one. Next, about the air. Once they become airborne, microplastic can also travel for thousands of miles through the planet's atmosphere. For PM2.5 size particles in particular, the study suggests that microplastic can travel on wind and weather patterns from emission sources in North America, Europe, and Asia as far away as the North Atlantic and the Arctic, especially during the NAO in winter and spring. Next. According to the study, residents of China and Mongolia topped the list, breathing in more than 2.8 million particles per month. US residents inhale about 300,000 particles per month. Only residents in Mediterranean and nearby regions breathed less, with countries like Spain, Portugal, and Hungary breathing about 600,000 to 214,000 particles per month. Next, I will pass the mic to Bill.
Thank you, Carly. Now I'm going to talk about persistence. They bioaccumulate and remain in the environment for a long time. The microplastic in the surface ocean produced from 1950 to 2050. The emission level in 2020 is 2.51 millimeters, increasing to the 2050, then achieving to the 3.97 millimeters tons. And then the global plastic productions in the 1950, the world produced 2 million tons of plastic, increases to the over 450 million tons of the plastic in the 2020. And then the most option plastic today come from the middle income country. the rate is mismanaged, which means it's not recycling, incinerate, or keep seed landfills. The mismanagement means it's risk of the leaking to the environment. And then the right graphic is show that the higher mismanaged country is the African country Comoro, which produce 69.52 mismanagement plastic weight per capita. And then the next page is the higher income country, which has the most plastic waste import and export per capita. And then the next page is the China, India, and the United States. The graphic shows that they are improving their annual plastic waste by the disposing method by using the recycling and incinerate. And then the next page is the marine debris time for the microplastic decompositions rate. The higher marine debris time is the plastic bottle, which needed 450 years, and the second one is the plastic beverage holders, which needed 400 years. And the third one is the plastic bag, which needed 20 years. And then the next is the fragmentation of the microplastic by UV and mechanical forces. Fragments of the microplastic enter and accumulate in the soil water strategic manifold and the bioaccumulate and biomanifest in living cells, including the phytoplanktons and zooplanktons, transfer to the fish and overwater body, plus the contaminated water to directly intake the plants. Finally, affecting the terrestrial animal and the human affected after the consumptions. Now pass to the Yankee.
Thank you, Bill. And under the criteria interconnectedness, one of the factor is climate change. It is about the fossil fuel use and CO2 emissions. The plastic are produced from fossil fuels, primarily oil and natural gas. As the largest source of carbon dioxide CO2 emissions, the fossil fuel combustion for plastic production contributes significantly to global greenhouse gas emissions. CO2 is not only emitted during the production, but also during the plastic waste, incineration, and degradation. Further, the increasing atmosphere CO2, this aligns with the general rise in global CO2 emissions from the use of fossil fuels since 1850, making the production of plastics a key contributor to the climate change. And now we will pass the time to Flora to talk about the biodiversity loss.
Thank you, Yankee. Microplastic enter different animals along the biotic chain, and bird, fish, and sea turtle often accidentally snack on microplastic. They fill up with non-food stuff and they end up starving because they can't get any nutrition. Also, it can hurt them on the inside and out, affecting their swimming and flying abilities. This may cause suffocation and pain. Also, plastic stuff they flow with the waves can bring in species from other places. The environment is unsuitable for animals. Picture shows that many countries are now suffering from it. Next page. Last is economic impact from developed and developing countries. Dependency on natural resources in developing countries, such as farming, fishing, and tourism, is threatened by pollution, leading to reduced income and economic decline. The picture shows that developing countries have more microplastic in their water resource. Developing countries lack funds to combat microplastic pollution, hindering environmental and facility upgrades, thus impacting the tourism industry. This results in income and job loss, affects countries such as Fiji. Next page. Developed countries such as US can control pollution, but the high volumes of waste generated by their populations and societies creates challenge for industry that relied on a cleaner environment. Give it to Yankee.
And in conclusion, the microplastics have emerged a critical global issue based on our four criteria. Once again, its ubiquity, transboundary nature, persistency, and interconnectedness. We believe that the microplastics represent a global environmental crisis. With these four criteria and other global issues, make it essential for nations to address this issue collectively and urgently. And this is the end of our presentation. Thank you.